Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of YBMcast. Today, we have our G.A.C. preview continuing today with Coach Andy Zerr from Timberland High School. Coach, how you doing?
I'm good, doing good, Brian. How are you?
Good.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us.
That's always a pleasure. I enjoy this part because this is what it's about, right? It's baseball, and we enjoy it. As always, YBMcast powered by Game 7 Baseball. Game7baseball.com. Go get your team registered. Get ready for the season. Baseball is around the corner. There we go. Coach, coming off a tough season and graduating just about everybody.
Yeah, we had a lot of seniors that played a lot of innings for us, gave a lot of innings on the mound, and took a lot of at bats, and they are all graduated and moving on and doing other great things.
Yeah. Last year, you guys finished 5-5 in the GAC South. Overall, 20-16. Had some ups and downs. We were there. You had the nice walk off against House Central. That was a fun game to call.
Oh, I mean, that was a great game, and there was so many great games that we had in the GAC. You just never know what it's going to bring, but you can guarantee one thing: that's going to be a battle for sure.
We're recapping a couple things because you got so much turnover here. You know, last year you guys scored 6.39 runs per game overall, and you were scoring. It's always interesting because I think this really shows how tough the GAC South is with pitching. But in the GAC South, you were averaging 4.2 runs a game. And so that shows you the level of pitching you guys were facing.
Oh, yeah. You know, we talked about it. I mean, we talked about it last year when I was here, and you've talked it with the other guys. You know, it's a gauntlet every time you play that Tuesday, Wednesday home and away games against the GAC South. And, you know, and teams don't just have off years, they are always reloading. I mean, every year, if somebody graduated, there's somebody next in line.
Who's up? Let's go. Yeah. And, defensively, you guys allowed 4.75 runs overall, which is pretty good. High school baseball is pretty good. The GAC South, you even lowered that. You were allowing only 3.8 runs per game. So, you know, those are things you like to see as a coach. They're in line, right?
Oh yeah, and that shows, you know, the depth that we try to build with our pitching staff and with our offense and defense and everybody to be able to contribute, you know, in the conference games and non-conference games. And then when we have those weekend tournaments or those weekend doubleheaders, you know, you got enough guys to step up and compete and do well in those games, and then be ready for the conference games once again on Tuesday and Wednesday. So yeah, it takes everybody for sure.
Well, we always like to start with pitching because I think, you know, as we said, you know, in this conference, it's tough.
Oh yeah.
You do have a dude.
Oh yeah. Richie Swain. Yeah, he is. He's special. I mean, he was special last year as a sophomore for us. He started last year. He was one of our starters on Friday or the weekends, and pitched great. He pitched against. He won a game against Jeff City, one of their highly recruited guys. Yeah. He beat him in a game there, so that was just awesome that he did that. And then as things went on, he ended up becoming one of our conference relievers, and he was one of our main guys last year. And you know, if he comes out and just does the same type of stuff with him growing and getting better and more experience, he's just gonna keep doing well and keep progressing.
That's awesome. He was 4-0. He had a 3.38 ERA, 29 innings total. I love these. These are the stats. You know, I mean, ERA and everything, you know, that's the big one. But his whip was 1.07, 45 Ks, only 16 walks. And his opponent batting average was $147.
He really, even as a sophomore, was a pitcher. He wasn't just a thrower. You know, he had a plan of attack. He knew what he wanted to do, how he wanted to set up hitters. And then we had the two Carsons last year behind the plate. So, you know, having those guys with that experience and their knowledge helped him along the way as well. But Richie just has an idea of how to pitch and what to do. And then just on top of that, having the good stuff that he has.
Now you got a bunch of seniors here, and I'm going to roll through some names, and then we'll talk about some guys and see how you're going to fill everything behind him. Because, Brad Stumpf, Casey Lassiter, Parker Fenton, Dominic Horn, Ethan Theismann. Where's everybody fitting in?
Well, they're all fitting in by stepping up and taking the ball. They are like. Those guys all have special, unique stuff that they can bring to the program to make a staff.
Right.
And that's what we're looking at. They were all relievers last year. They didn't really get an opportunity to start with the seniors that we had. But this year, those guys and some of the juniors are going to have to. Somebody's going to have to step up and show that they want the ball. And we got the full schedule, so there's lots of innings to be had. And we got Brad's a good little lefty. Really has that fire competitiveness in him. He really does. And Casey's got some really good stuff. And Theismann, he's kind of got that little, he's a smaller in stature guy, but he's got this bulldog mentality that you love to see on that. And Dominic Horn is he's a baseball player.
Yes.
He's a baseball player that comes out, competes every day, and you know that you're going to get the best from him and every time you put him out there.
I love it. Brad Stumpf. We saw Brad. He was back in the day when he was playing out for Game 7. He was playing the St. Louis Bandits. He threw a no-hitter out there at the park, and that's it. He's just one of those kids. Goes out. I've seen Brad a few different times afterwards. He goes out, competes. I love that kid. He's a fun kid to talk to, and he's just one of those guys. I think it works on your team, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I actually was lucky enough to have Brad in class when he was a freshman. So I've known Brad for a while, and he just, he's been a great teammate all 4 years. He's come talk to me like when I remember one time I think it was his freshman or sophomore year. There was some stuff going on with this team, and he would coach, what do I need to do? How can I lead this team in the right way? What can I do? And he's asking questions to get better, and he's always been that way. So he's gonna be a real helpful to our team.
Yeah, because like you said, Casey Lassiter, he had 5 2/3 innings. Ethan Theismann had 10 2/3, and Dominic 2 2/3. So yeah, these guys' experience is going to be an interesting factor in this, right?
Oh yeah, it will be. And those guys, even though they didn't get the innings last year, they're around a lot of, highly talented pitchers last year, and some pitchers that did work to get themselves better. And so those guys saw that, and these guys do their own thing and their own way to get better. And they've done their practice, they've done their work, they've put in their time. And they're going to it's going to show. And we've had a couple of those guys. I know Dominic Horn and Ethan Theismann. Ethan missed one of our workouts so far this winter because he went on a college trip.
Sure,
right.
Sure.
And Dom hasn't missed any. That's awesome. So those two guys, coming to all that stuff shows me where their mindset is.
Very good, very good. Defensively, that's going to be interesting. Of course, Carson Ramos behind the plate. Love that kid. Big physical catcher, strong arm. That is a positive for you with him coming back and being behind the plate with all this young pitching, right?
Oh, man, yeah, because he got a bunch of experience for us last year, playing varsity all the time. He played a lot of third for us last year, too. So I think that's really going to help him understand the game better and understand the dynamics of the infield. He's going to have a better understanding of that because of that. And now, coming back and being our catcher, he's going to be the field general. And he really does have a calming nature to him when he's behind the plate, or just even in the classroom. I see him in the school setting, people around him. He has a way of just calming situations down. And we had a kid that's going to throw a bullpen who's trying out, and he was really nervous about his warm-up bullpen that he was going to throw. And he asked Carson to catch him. And, of course, Carson said yes. And I go, that's good. Carson really is can make pitchers look good. He goes, yeah, that's why I wanted him to catch me.
There's a few names here defensively that I want to throw at you that I want to see, because two of these kids, the names there on the roster, but don't know too much about them other than what I know of the summertime. But of course, Hayden Post, athletic kid,
Very, yeah.
right? He played center field for you, didn't he?
Yes, he was mainly our center field last year. Yep, and he's gonna look into possibly moving into that shortstop position. He played shortstop for us when Will Minch was on the mound for us last year. So he's got some varsity experience at shortstop. Very athletic, good arm. I think he's going to be able to handle the shortstop position with no problem at all. And that'll be a solid, another guy up the middle, catcher. And then if Post can handle that shortstop position, that's two solid guys right there up the middle.
That gives you a little more peace of mind, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
it's true.
You look at who we got coming back and where the majority of our at bats were. Our defense, there's not one person that's coming back to the same position. If Carson moves from third to catcher, and if Post moves from center to short, that's 8 new position players. If just talking about position wise.
Talk a little bit. A couple of juniors, Isaiah Ogby, I believe it's pronounced. Ogby, okay, and Ethan Chiodini.
Yes,
got him right. Okay, or close enough, right?
Yeah.
Talk about those two.
They're really nice players. Isaiah's got some really nice talent. Another really athletic guy that can pitch as well. Outfield has a really nice smooth swing. Very fluid, and he's just a very calm player. Doesn't get too worked up in situations from what I've seen. He looks like to be a nice piece in the mix and all that stuff. And then Ethan, he played a lot of third base for the JV team last year. Strong kid, good baseball family. So he knows the game, and he's gonna compete for at bats as well for us.
There you go. I loved it, and that's where you got a lot of young guys there on that competing for spots. So, we talk catcher. So you pretty much got some open competition around the field, don't you, Coach?
Yeah, we got Jackson Curry's coming back too. He'll be a senior. When Yarberry was pitching, he kind of took over the first base position when Jackson was on the mound. But Curry is he's another one that's a competitor, wants to win, works extremely hard. I mean, if I had to pick the hardest worker in the program, it very well could be Jackson Curry.
Oh, wow.
He's that kind of mindset, that kind of kid, another great teammate, and just takes good quality at bats all the time. So he's a guy looking there. First or third, see where that all plays out on that. We got another junior, Cam Newsom. He plays outfield, and he's another high energy guy. Motors going 100 miles per hour all the time, and I love those kind of players. So Cam's gonna fit in somewhere along the line for us and be a contributor to the team as well. So those are a couple guys. Another junior, Owen Dedeker, is another kid that he's like your professional, just does his job and wants to do his job, whatever the team needs. Middle infield, pitch, outfield. I'm sure if I asked him to play outfield, he'd jump right out there. But another great kid with a good family background with baseball. So it's there's some really nice pieces, and so then I guess it's just me and my coaching staff's job to put it all together, right?
Hey, you got to love those kids. Go put me in the game. Let me go play.
Oh, absolutely. Right? Yep.
I love that stuff. Offensively, you guys put up some runs. You got, Carson Ramos again, Hayden Post right there. Those guys. Hayden Post, 32 runs, 22 RBI. That's some serious run production.
He's got the potential to be very special. He's already a special player, but he has that potential to jump to that next level. And I think for him, it's just a mindset of hey, I'm going to do it, and that's there for him. And something's going to click along the way, and he's going to turn into that next level player. I have no doubt. That's why we had him up as a sophomore and gave him all those at bats, because we totally believe in him.
I think that is so important, because the batting average for both Ramos and Post weren't, but you could see the production because, 5 doubles and 3 triples for Post, 6 doubles, 2 home runs. He hit the walk-off home run, Ramos did against that. So the production, you see the production, 20 runs or 20 RBI for, I think, maybe playing at third, trying to feel comfortable. That's always tough for a young player, isn't it?
Well, yeah, both of them. They both were out of position.
Right.
Post and Ramos were both out of position. And then just the experience.
Yeah.
Another year of working out in the summer, playing all summer, and then coming back stronger because they're a year older, more confident because they know. Last year was pretty new to both of them, I'm pretty sure, at the varsity high school level.
Yeah.
And having that year under their belt, they're going to be better. I mean, they're too good not to be.
What do you see as far as leadership from these two guys?
Carson is such, like I said, I see him as he's a calming presence. Mm-hmm. I think he is a lead by example guy first, but I've seen him step up vocally and get people in the right direction. One of the best examples, sophomore, we were rolling the tarp up, and that's not an easy task because you know how the wind blows at our place.
Yes, indeed. Sits up on that hill.
and he was the guy, and I do it purposely. I kind of sit back and give them instructions so nobody gets hurt or anything, but I kind of sit back and I let them see who's going to take charge and who's going to make sure that it's done our way, the right way. Mm-hmm. And the one day he really he took the bull by the horns and made sure that it was done. That's always stood out to me, and I see that's in him as well.
That's awesome. I love that. You got offense coming back. You have some deep. You have a lot of holes to fill. There's just a lot of newness with this team this year. What are you expecting, Coach?
Well, I've talked to the guys when we've had these workouts this off season about. We have to get that mindset that every at-bat's going to be a competition. We are going to compete, especially when we get to two strikes. We got to have that mindset that our goal, the last thing we want is to strike out. Our minimum goal is to see another pitch.
Yeah.
We want to see another pitch and just have that attacking mindset to win.
Absolutely.
And so I'm trying to really work and get the guys to buy in to, we have to have a different approach with two strikes, and we got to do a couple of little things different, and to make up these runs that we've graduated. The runs scored and the RBIs that we graduated. It's going to take everybody on the lineup 1 through 9. We can't just have the middle lineup scoring the runs, and if Post is at the top of the lineup scoring 30 runs again, guess what? We really need to have our 7th and 8th hitter. We have to have somebody up there scoring 20, 25 runs as well. So that's kind of our mindset and philosophy that we're going to take into the year.
And I've looked at your schedule. Of course, the South, it didn't get any easier.
Nope, never does. Yeah,
my goodness, Troy's back. They're going to be strong. Of course, Hal, the elephant in the room.
Right. Yep.
They're all Zumwalt West. I mean, Coach Goff. He does a great job getting those kids. They got some talent.
Oh, yeah.
System there, and they'll retool. They seem to. And down in Hal North, the new coach down there, I think that's going to be an interesting dynamic there. Now that Donahue retired, that's kind of one of those eras, that just kind of right.
Oh yeah. Donahue, he's fantastic. I mean, he's just such a character, such a baseball guy. Has done so much for the game around here. So. But the House Norson, they're in good hands. They're going to do a good job, and they're gonna step right in, and nobody's going to be a pushover in the GAC.
No, they got some talent there.
They sure do.
And so we got you guys week 3, just before the GAC Classic, coming out to your house for that rematch with Hal Central. So I'm looking forward to that because I'm hoping everybody stays healthy. I'm looking forward to seeing. I haven't seen Richie pitch, and so I'm looking forward to that.
He's fun. I touched on it a little bit, but he's a dude. He's a special talent, and he's another just like all the top guys in the GAC are, that they have to work extremely hard and put in their time outside of practices and do their own thing, and it's a daily thing for them. And he doesn't miss a beat on that stuff.
Not a beat. So your non-conference schedule. You guys are in the Midwest Classic, yes?
Yep.
What do you work to get out of that? Or do you really try to set yourself up with some of even the younger guys that haven't, that you don't know? Does that carry some weight as far as from tryouts and into what people are doing there?
Yeah, I kind of try to break the season down into 3 sections. Once the season gets going, I figure you got your non-conference and your tournament games, your conference games, and then you got your districts. And especially we play in the Troy tournament, and then
got Troy too.
Yeah, and then we got the Midwest Classic. And that 10 games in 2 weeks is just a great opportunity to throw people in the fire and see what they got, and give them that opportunity to take the bull by the horns, we say, and do that. It happened, we tell the story every year. Ryan Dickherber was first team all GAC player, and that year he didn't get the first game start, and he got a start, got a couple hits, good at bats, okay. Got him back in there and just kept producing, and then we ran with it. So, that's kind of how we treat those first 2 tournaments is putting guys out there, seeing how they can perform, seeing who can get ready, because our first conference opponent's Francis Howell. So we got to be ready right out of the gates to see who we got and who can handle that stuff. So then those 2 good tournaments right off the bat is a good way to do that.
Yeah, because what pool are you in? Do you remember off the top of your head?
We got House Central in our pool, CBC, and I want to maybe Parkway West. I could be mistaken on that. I don't remember.
That's not easy.
It's not so easy.
Yeah,
but it's good. But it's good for us.
That's the point, right?
It's good for us. Yeah.
I think it's almost like a spring training. I mean,
in a sense, yeah. Oh yeah.
It counts on your schedule or on your record, but it's almost like a spring training, and you get an opportunity to really kind of go through that process.
Yeah, like last year we had all those seniors, so it was kind of finding their groove and get going on that. And this year it's going to be okay. Who's going to get in there? Who's going to have the groove, right?
Yeah, exactly. Who's going to step in and want to play? And I think when you got young guys and guys that haven't played as much, you got to find those guys who really are not afraid of the moment.
Right. That's big.
It is big, because you've got plenty of moments when you get into conference play and then heading toward district play. Because your overall record, I know people like to go and win conference, and that's great. But then your overall record is a reflection then of where you're seated in the district too, correct?
Oh yeah, every game counts in high school. It really does. But your ultimate goal is to make that district run, because if, let's say, you finish 500 in conference but you make it to the Final Four, that's what you're going to remember.
Right.
That's what you're going to remember. Right. So it all, for me, everything you do, all the decisions you make is trying to build up to get your best team ready to go on that first district game to make that run.
Well, I still think you've got talent here. You've got guys that are coming back to into the program that I think can make an impact for you. So good luck to you, Coach.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm excited. And having, in a way, you always got to have the turnover every year. You always have turnover as a high school coach. But when you have as much turnover, and then you got all these great new guys coming in that work so hard and love baseball, it's kind of, it's kind of a start over or refreshing to get that, new start and seeing new faces and getting that in. Sure, I'd love to have some of those guys back from last year, no doubt.
Right, bonus.
Right, but gosh, I can't be more excited for the guys I have, and I always feel that way. And got some really good juniors coming in, along with the seniors. Like I mentioned, the couple seniors that have just been coming to all the workouts and everything, and excited to see how they grow into baseball players and grow as young men as we move on to the spring. It's going to be exciting.
Very good. I love it. Always a pleasure.
Right on.
One of the nicest people you'll ever meet right here. That's a fact. I enjoy talking with you.
Always good.
I enjoy it. And looking forward to the season. A lot of great stuff out here. I'm looking forward to seeing Carson this year and see what he does in that spot. And Hayden Post, those two guys, and then with Richie, I'm looking forward to seeing how those guys take the reins and kind of move that team forward.
Yeah, they're the guys coming back with the varsity experience and that, along with the seniors that have been there for a couple years now. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I think it's gonna be a great group that's gonna be really close and well knit. That's gonna help us have some success this year.
Get out there and support your team. All you Wolves, right?
Timberland Wolves, yeah.
Timberland Wolves. Get out there, support the team. Great venue. We're going to be out there. I believe it's April. I'm thinking 9th. Third week. Yep, I think that's what it is. I'm going to the recesses of my brain, which is scary in itself, man. But go out there, get out there, support your team. This baseball in this area, the community, it's great. The GAC is great baseball. Make sure you get out, support your team. We love that part of it, too. So, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Please, if you like what we do, please, right below there, hit the subscribe button. Hit the dinger next to it, because that's what we do around here. We hit dingers. It's always good to have guys that hit dingers, right, Coach?
I absolutely can't.
Especially when runners on. Exactly. So that, although it doesn't get you actually the dinger here, it gets you notifications for upcoming episodes such as this. We appreciate it very much. Everybody have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers, keep throwing strikes, and hitters, go ahead, Coach.
Hit some dingers.
There you go. That's it. We'll see y'all next time.